Calco probably needs no introduction to any of you guys. He's the world record holder. He set the world record in the tournament hype race. He's also a very consistent runner. I don't know what his worst run so far in the tournament is, but it's definitely not a bad time. He's got a 35.06. A 34.49, a 34.56. So, you know, very, very consistent player. However, Dots doesn't have quite the PB that Calco does. But Dots is definitely one of the most consistent players, if not the most consistent player at many categories. But also this one, so it should be an exciting race. Calco definitely going to be showcasing some more risky strats. So it should be interesting to see. I know Dots alters a few of his normal strats for races. And consistency is why Dots has made it to the championship of the winner's bracket here. I mean, he's just not really had a bad run. And that's all you gotta do, it seems, if you're already as good as he is. Oh, both of them missing the shell jump, so no advantages there. We'll see if Calco features an underball or not in the next stage. Oh, and we got one fish jump too, so excellent to see. Okay, Iggy's Castle, the first interesting stage of the run. At least this room, anyway. No underball. And both of them opting for fire strats here. Dots was the originator of the Small World 2 route for this category. But I think for races he might be doing, we'll have to see, but he might be featuring the DS1 D-Boost. Because I think the whole point that Dots was trying to do was to not have to do fire DP3, so... And actually, from what I understand, the D-Boost in DS1 takes the same amount of time as waiting does when you're Small Mario, waiting for the fish, so... My guess is that's what he's doing. Oh, minutes are cut off on the timers. Oh dear. Thank you for letting me know. I'll fix that right away. There's a minute. You don't need minutes. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Any other issues, please let me know. Yeah, both of them doing different strats there for the Yoshi grab. Calco let go of Y for a couple of frames just to make sure he didn't get sub-pixeled by the Koopa, and Dots opting for the even safer run around the left side. Oh, you would need to. Thanks, Maid Walker. I'll fix it again. nice and safe. And Dot's not deboosting here. So that's interesting. Oh, well, I guess he got hit, so we'll just pretend like that was a deboost. It's also possible that he forgot to deboost. I haven't caught any other of his races. Oh, he said he didn't mean... Okay, he didn't mean to grab the fire anyway, so that makes sense. Perfectly... The funny thing is, grabbing the fire there, even if you're doing Small World 2, is a perfectly normal strat. That I hadn't seen anyone do until this tournament. Although not many people were running this category before this tournament, to be fair. Calco, no problems with the ghost house. Dots as well. Seems like a pretty trivial stage, and it is for most of these runners who are left in the tournament. But I have certainly lost time there before. So Calco featuring the super swaggy and quite difficult single left scroll here. The key is to both do it at the scroll at the right position and not lose hardly any speed, and Calco does it easily. Dot's also getting through and fine with the Koopa jumps. Yeah, I agree, Louis. It is a good strat to do the deboost. Alright, DP4. Calco's going to be doing some blue shell strats here because he's obviously going to stay as Fire Mario. I've timed this with some degree of accuracy, and it seems like the small strats are at worst a half a second slower than Calco's strats. So it's just preference. And a very slight amount of time advantage to the more difficult fire strats. And DP4 can always be tricky, and both of them getting through the stage with no problems at all, so everything is very even so far. Just a slight bit more of safety for Dots, plus the accidental deboost, which we'll call it. .386, and Dot's opting again for a slightly. So yeah, just 384, just 2 game seconds, but you're guaranteed to not lose Fire Flower, and therefore 4 seconds if you do that. So this part of the climb is actually quite difficult to catch the cycle, as many of you know. So even for these guys, it's not a total foregone conclusion. Ooh, Calco barely missing that block there. But he exits the level fine. Ooh, and Dot's just barely making it through on that cycle. I thought he was gonna do something safer there towards the end because it was so close. But he took the risk and paid off. So let's see, Calco's Castle 2 split is 1.6 off his PB. And Dots is actually 0.4 ahead. Oh, excuse me, that was a 0.4. That was a pink segment for him, so he's Dots is exactly even here. Oh, Dot's missing the missing P speed there on the platform. It's not a problem. Calco with the elusive 78 key. And Dot's going to opt for the backup fire flower. That's a great flower to get. It only costs about 1.5 seconds if you do it the way that he just did. So for a race and For anyone that doesn't have a 35 yet, that's a great strat. Calco not waiting long enough on the pipe for that second spring to spawn. Luckily, he had the wherewithal to not waste time jumping. Dot's getting a little stuck here on the spring. But he doesn't have any problem with the scrolls, but... Those silly bean springs. And this stage is not difficult, not particularly difficult. However, there are many ways to mess up, and if you do, it's generally a big time loss in this first section. There can be a significant amount of lag, of course, if the P-switch is activated, which Calco does. It's probably 2/3 of a second. It's a lot of time. Perhaps not in a race, but as a normal practice, yeah, both of them. I have done some tests actually, and on average, it is very slightly, and I'm talking 4 or 5 frames better. You have 4 or 5 frames less lag on average if you have a shell in your mouth when you spawn the P-switch, if you accidentally spawn it. Yoshi food. And no problem for Calco. Let's see if he can get the 63. 63 has to do with your turnaround at the beginning and the... not quite. And how well you do the water at the end. This is the second best stage in the run, obviously. Calco likes to shoot fireballs off of things and bounce them in interesting places. Should be a 54 pipe if he gets in the pipe, and he does. So now he'll just be hoping for a relatively friendly Resnor. Particularly since he doesn't have a backup fire. But they're pretty passive. That is the hardest pipe in the game, agreed. Oh, Dot's bodied by the fireball. Gotta get that flower. Oh, I think he was only several frames from that fire flower dropping out of reach. So lucky he didn't lose those 12 or 13 seconds in the castle. Assuming, of course, he can keep it, but that shouldn't be a problem. Calco playing catch with the mushroom. Calco, I believe, is one of the more entertaining runners in this stage. Ooh. Look at that mushroom go. Still a very close race. They're 20 game seconds apart here, so maybe 21. Oh, but Calco's timer's turning over. So they're about 20 game seconds apart, which is, I think 14 seconds. So if Calco loses fire in the castle, they'll be tied. Calco killing very nearly every enemy. Alright, this stage is all about remembering to hold up for the first eat and just grabbing the blue shell. Interestingly, if you don't spit out that green shell, the blue shell that you usually grab will despawn. So don't forget to do that. Calco going for the slightly risky one scroll strat, but that's his normal strat, so provides no problems for the 86 store. That strat saves about 0.7. It seems like it's much faster because it's an 86, but it only saves 0.7 to the normal walk back and forth strat. 53 red door. Let's see if he goes for the P-speed jump. And I timed this today, actually. It saves 5 frames. That's all. But Calco needs those 5 frames. And Calco missed the split, but it appeared he was about 4 seconds behind his PB. And Dots is 4.7 behind his PB, so both runners having good runs. Excuse me, Dots is 2.9 seconds behind his PB, so Mr. Ejector, this is the final of the winner's bracket. Yeah, this is a solid run for both players. Yeah, 1649 whistle is quite good. The loser's winner. Got the backup fire. Not eating the, it's about a second of lag with those caterpillars. Let's see if he gets the jump. Treats him well. Dot's not far behind. Just gained a second because just gained a second on him from lag. And both runners getting the jump. Dots always gets the jump too. Look at that. There's Calco's dismount. Oh, and he doesn't nail the landing. This will be an 8-second loss. And now his subpixel is wrecked, so this could be a total game changer. Okay, he gets through with a 71 clip. And Dots, who literally wrote the YouTube video on clips, just saved himself about 15 game seconds on Calco, so this is a much closer race than it was before this stage. So we are 6 seconds apart right now. So we got a race. We had a race before, but it's even closer now. Calco going for the wall jump. Dot's getting it. Let's see if he gets the double. The reason why a lot of people do not go for that is because later in the stage, Dots will have to slow down because he'll get 2 bubbles in a row. Right here. And he got them, but he kept the shell. Interesting strat. Okay, Dots wins. That's a great way to deal with that, because you almost always get the double bubble. Yeah, you can jump on the turn block also to avoid them, but it's kind of difficult. Right. Yeah, still Silver Star and Louie now. Listen to them. It does save 2 game seconds though, so approximately a full second. Could be a little more, could be a little less. Calco getting the D-boost, no problem. Dots getting it as well. Dropped it a bit early. It's kind of spooky. So both runners still on a great pace. And Dots is going to split here on fade out. He's 15 seconds ahead of his PB here. So he's rising to the occasion of with this race against the world record holder. Calco does the hold the P switch and shoot the last dinosaur, which he actually missed, which saves exactly 4 frames compared to the spin jump that Dots just did. So if you're already doing the spin jump strat, don't abandon it. It's not bad. Worth it, yeah. Sweet time save. I imagine we'll be seeing 2 suicide doors. All of you know this, but I'll say it anyway. You can jump right after you press up, just in case you miss the door. Calco, no problem. Calco also doing the damage strats. Dots avoiding it. Which is generally true to how he races, you know, it's consistent play. But even with the safer strats that he's been featuring, I doubt he's lost 5 seconds to them throughout this entire run so far. So there's definitely something to be said about that, particularly in races. Calco, no problem with the second Koopa there. Everybody's strats scare me. I prefer the dot strat. That seems safer to me. Although you either have to do the 3 Koopas in a row bouncing, or you have to bounce on Koopas that are only barely visible on the bottom of the screen. So. Alright, I very seriously doubt Calco will be YOLOing Chocolate Secret here, and he doesn't. He's 13 seconds behind world record, so this run cannot be saved for him, so it makes more sense to be safe. This room 1 is extremely awkward, the way you have to do it with no cape. Both runners getting through it fine. Let's see if... Oh, Calco's just doing the duck strat, so he'll probably get a 58 or a 57 pipe. High 58. So the only other thing that could possibly save or lose time for either of these runners, apart from dying or getting hit, is the chuck jumps here. Most people opt to do a small left-right immediately after jumping here. Calco opting for luck, so he lost about a half second to that second one. You can forfeit a few frames on each jump, or you can... See, Dots does the left-right and does it a bit late, so still gets hit, but you can choose to either lose a tiny bit of time on each jump, or go for luck and maybe gain, you know, 5 or 6 frames, or but there's a potential to lose a half second there, or a full second if you get hit by both, of course. All right, Wendy's Castle. This is just a great race. I'm so happy it's so close. Crusher skip for Calco. He'll not opt for the undersaw. Although that is a small time save. And he's also opting for the mushroom here, which might alter his strat. Okay, he does a little left-right. His normal strat is to stay small. And the left-right and the running off the edge there was to delay so that his Big Mario could fit in the space that his normal strat fits in. Dot's losing P-speed. That's going to be quite a bit of time loss. It's going to be 8 or 9 seconds. He'll still be ahead of his PB. But that's an unfortunate time loss. However, still, very close race, definitely within 20 seconds. And Dots actually did gain time on his PB in that Chocolate Island, so... I don't know if he has Sandbar in his PB, but if he doesn't, then he's on 34 pace. If he does, we'll see. But his PB is a 35.20 and he's 16 seconds ahead. Calco lost only 0.7 on that split to his world record, which is probably just YOLO Chocolate Secret, so... Actually, something must have happened in the world record that I don't know about if he only lost 0.7, because he didn't do YOLO Chocolate Secret and he also didn't do Undersaw, both of which should save. Maybe a 1.75 combined. Calco not getting a good delay here, so he will be swimming through one of these boos or waiting for them. Let's see if his iframes can get through. Oh my god. Alright, he made it. That is a much scarier strat than doing the normal pause for a half second, but he makes it through just fine. And does a star skip, which compared to optimal lag reduction strats actually does lose time. And he's got the swaggy 0 speed fall there. Twice he gets 0 speed. Dots here finishing up, opting for the lag reduction star strats. Also orb. Alright, let's see if Calco can 62. He's got the beginnings of a 62. I don't think you can with that strat, actually. Dot's not quite getting P-speed at the beginning of the stage. There's the scroll. Oh, he just makes it over the first 61 pipe for Calco. Just makes it over the first mole. That was a bit scary with the scroll. A little bit oh, he's still got P-speed. Excellent. And a 59 pipe. So we're seeing a 30-10 entrance of Vob 2 for Calco. Calco has been doing sandbar in every race thus far, and he hasn't missed it. So I imagine he'll be going for it, but that could be the difference in the race if he misses. Starts a bit late. But he never misses, because sandbar is free. It really did look like he started his run a little bit late to me. Dot's not opting for sandbar. Could have been an attempt. You never can tell when it's that close, if he pressed A or not. Yeah, Calco does that in every race because it's part of the run. It's easy. There's 2 whole frames with no visual cue, or virtually no visual cue. Two whole frames. Alright, Vob Fort, this is all about keeping P-speed. I and many others agree that the stage is probably easier with no cape. Although, I would say it's easy to choke on the stage because it's hard enough, but it's one of those stages that's easier than it is easier than it looks, which is most speedrunners' favorite type of stage. Because it looks hard, but it isn't as hard as it looks. Oh, just dodging that fireball. Wouldn't have mattered too much in terms of his lead, but saves the damage time. Yeah, Dots should definitely still be ahead of PB. Assuming he does not, I'm assuming he does not have sandbar in his PB. So he's on pace for very approximately, you know, 34-10. Excuse me, 35-10. But I'll know when he gets into the bouncer fight. Calco definitely on 34 pace here. It's going to be a 34-45 or so, which is better than, once again, better than everyone's PB in the tournament, including Silver Star and Steven, who have since bopped me and have been the newest 34s. So Dot's definitely going to be able to PB here, but I'm not sure by how much. Alright, if he does an optimal... he's 1.2 seconds ahead of his PB, so it's going to be close. So he's got to have a good fight. And actually, if Calco gets a 45, I believe that would be good enough for, if it weren't for Calco's world record, there's only one run better than that, and that's Waz's 34-33. Dot's getting through phase 1 just fine. Calco. So, after all of this, only a phase of Bowser apart. And you can't ask for a better race than this. I mean, a race that's better than all of the other seeds from one person, and a PB, a possible PB from another. We'll see if Dots' splits can survive. Alright, Calco with a 34-43, which indeed is good enough for, would be good enough for 3rd place on the leaderboards. And he has a 34.45 in the race room. Excellent run. Very impressive. Dot's finishing up here. Let's see if he can PB. Oh, just misses that first hit. So that's going to cost him, I think, actually. Because he does more bounces. Let's see. Oh. Dots ends up with a .01 non-PB. Dots does not PB. That is unfortunate. We'll go back over to Dot's audio here. I move my little icon. Okay, we don't need the icon. It's dumb. So yeah. Great race from both racers. Congratulations. Dots will now move on to face the winner of the losers bracket, which is yet to be determined.